Now, Life of Pi actor Suraj Sharma is back in India for the premiere of his new film, This Tempting Madness. The film is a psychological thriller inspired by true events. The story follows Mia, played by Simone Ashley, who awakens from a coma after a near-fatal fall. Gravely injured and unable to fully recall her past, she learns that her husband is missing. As her fractured memories resurface, Mia becomes confused and overwhelmed by a surge of emotions. In an exclusive interview with NewsX senior editor Uday Pratap Singh, Sharma talks about his experience signing the film and being back in Goa, India for the film's premiere at the International Film Festival of India. Let's cut across.
Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview on NewsX and NewsX World. We are in conversation today with a well-known actor who's, of course, not just wowing us in India, but across the world, in Hollywood too. I'm talking about Suraj Sharma. Welcome, Suraj. Thanks for being with us today on NewsX and NewsX World.
Thank you so much for having me, Uday.
Great to have you back in India. And of course, with a special film. So let's just talk first about This Tempting Madness. I saw, of course, the kind of great response you got in Goa. Having the premiere at IFFI, how was the response to your screening there? And what was the experience like being back in Goa and India?
Man, being back in Goa is fantastic. You know, every time I come here, obviously, it's just lovely. I haven't been back in India for about 2 years. I've been shooting over there. So this has been lovely for more than just the movie. It's been lovely for me personally. Um, Tempting Madness it's a psychological thriller, and it's about this woman who loses her memory
Mhm,
and has to realize or find who she is once again.
mhm.
Obviously, both parties have their interests in this loss of memory. So it explores like mental illness and abuse and love and the perseverance of it through it out. So it was intense, man. The shoot was intense.
Yeah.
Watching the movie was intense. People's reaction was like really interesting, especially people who've been through stuff like this. Or
Mhm.
and that, by the way, is I read the stats and stuff, man. 36% of Indian women are going through something like this. So like even if
Right.
you're not directly involved or something like that, there's a lot of people who get who are privy to this world. So
Okay.
it affects people, and it was a privilege to work on such a thing, man.
Yes. What was the kind of response you got from the people who watched it? Obviously, for an actor, for the filmmaker who was also there, Jennifer, I'm sure you must have been gauging the kind of response from the people in the theater. What was that, and what did people say to you, and what stood out for you?
Um, well, what stood out, Uday, is that the reactions were very diverse, man.
Mhm.
Like, sometimes you tell a story and then people have to sit with it and think about it. And a lot of people came and they were very congratulatory, but then a lot of people were like, they couldn't speak.
Mm.
And I think that that's exactly what we wanted. You're in the mind of a person who's trying to find their mind.
Mhm.
Um, and just having them think about it and then slowly come into conversation about it was exactly what we were hoping for. So good, man.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes silence says more than words, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
talking about the movie before we talk about your experience in Goa, it's inspired from real events. Is that correct? How did the story come to you, and what did you first think about the script, and what was the kind of brief given to you by the director Jennifer Montgomery?
Well, essentially, dude, I got the script, I read it, and it was already a page turner. The twists in it are quite intense.
Hmm.
So I already liked the script before I knew it was based on it was inspired on a true story. So that made it
Okay.
all the more like, wow, this really happens.
Yeah.
Making up a story is a very interesting and great thing, but sometimes when you just are that much closer to reality, it just strikes you as more important in a way. And then working, of course, with Simone Ashley, who's doing such a good
Yeah.
job with Bridgerton and all these things. I was like, of course, I want to be a part of this. It's rare on the outside to be in a film or a TV show where there's more than one, Indian person involved in this thing. So it's a freeing feeling. You learn about the landscape out there, and I had a great time. Plus, Simone Ashley is a lovely human being, so not just a lovely actor. And it was great, man. It was great.
Okay. Coming back to Goa now, how was that for you? Life has come full circle. You started out in Goa with your first film, of course, Life of Pi, being premiered there at IFFI. Now coming back, about over a decade after your career has, really taken off in the West and of course in India too. How does that feel to be back? And did the memories, the flashback happen of when you first came there?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's really beautiful, but like in a special, in a unique way, man. I've been on my own journey in life and learning my own things and trying my best, like over there, to learn how do I be a better actor? How do I understand why and what stories need to be told, you know? So coming back to Goa has been beautiful. Like the movie is about the cyclical nature of life, you know? When you're learning things, you keep coming back to it and grow and grow and grow. So in a funny way, like it matched exactly where I am right now. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to help the bridge that's being created, at least in the cinema world, between India and the global audience and
Yeah.
what they want. How do you understand it? And is there space for real Indian stories for the global audience at a large scale? Um, and that's what I'm trying to embark upon now, man. So it's good to come back to shore
Mhm.
and and see where we are. It's been beautiful.
True. But do you still look back and feel that it's like a dream? How Life of Pi happened for you, and how your career took off. It was an Oscar-winning film to start with that. Do you still look back to how you got that project, how that audition with Ang Lee worked, and the rest was history, as they say.
Uday, I can't ever look at that as anything but a dream, man. That's
Yeah.
just for someone from, Alaknanda in Delhi. That's
Yeah.
a very strange, unique thing to happen, man. I feel blessed. I feel blessed. The only reason I know it's not a dream is because, it's affected my real life. But other than that, yes, of course, man. It was a beautiful journey. It kind of sent me on this, like, just like pie on the boat, I was sent on this journey and I had to learn, like, what all of this is. And it's been fantastic, man. And I've grown from it and I've come back thinking, what do you do next?
Okay. Well, we're going to ask you that then. What are you doing next? What's coming up after this? Are you working on something? Can you talk about it? Are you looking at more projects, of course, in Hollywood? Do you want to come back to India? I know you did Gulmohar recently as well, but it has been a couple of years since that.
Yeah, the hope is to balance both, man.
Mhm.
I've been working a lot in the US. I got a couple of TV shows and movies coming out over there.
Okay.
One being The Night Agent on Netflix.
Mhm.
Um, but I want to work more in India too. I feel like it's time for me to work more in India too and find the right balance because there's no dearth of stories here. And honestly, the space for Indian cinema uh, at the global scale has grown tremendously. Now our question is how do we tap that? How do we realize like where we can go from that? So that's what I'm trying to do. Plus, I'm trying to make my own films and kind of find a place where we can be like, okay, this is for India, this is for the world. We can do this together, and the stories don't have to be untrue. They're true to us, and we've had them for a long time. So there's a lot in the making, man. I feel like the next 10 years are going to be another journey.
And have you seen the perceptions change, of Indian
Yes.
cinema in the West? Because you've been there and you've been observing that.
Of course, so it's because cinema is affected by what's happening in the real world, and as India steps uh, out of its previous 200-year history, and we move into this place where now once again we're stepping back as a big global player. All industries will shift, right? And with that comes cinema, right? Here's our chance to be able to tell our stories truly and uniquely, and not assume that it's just Indians that are going to want to watch this. The whole
Mhm.
world is waiting to watch. So we have to make things of that capacity.
And also, have you seen, scripts and now parts being written for men and women of South Asian descent? Earlier it was just a bit role
Ab-
or something so caricaturish. But has that also changed now?
Absolutely. I mean, look, we have a long way to go. We all know that. But at the same time, like the amount it's improved,
Mm.
the amount of like the stereotypes are kind of dying out. There's a realization that there is a diverse identity amongst these people, the South
Mhm.
Asians, and
Yeah.
and they in fact can tap that and use that. There's a huge
Yeah.
market that's lying waiting to watch. Yes, there's been a massive shift. I mean, of course, there's a long way to go, but like it's really nice to see was doing Life of Pi and stuff, the roles that were available outside were lackluster compared to what they are now. And I think we have a long way to go, and I think we are going there. So I'm excited, man.
Okay. Now, I did read somewhere that you've said direction is on the cards. You want to look at that. Is that something you're working towards?
Yes, that is something I'm working towards. I'm working on a couple of scripts. I've been shadowing directors on the sets that I've been on. I've been learning the other side. I feel like the more I understand the whole nature of this, the better it is for me, and the better I
Okay.
can be, just simply as an actor too.
Okay.
Yes, direction is on its way. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. So watch this space for more is clearly what you're saying. Now, who all are on the bucket list? You've already, of course, worked with some fabulous actors like veterans like Sharmila Tagore Manoj Bajpayee. You've also worked with Diljit and Anushka in the past. Who's on the bucket list now from India? Who would you manifest through this interview to work with?
Well, my hope right now, if I were just to give you one name, is Nawazuddin Siddiqui. I
Okay,
really want to work with him. To me,
and he was also an
he's on
IFFI, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, Uday.
Yeah,
More than that, I met him,
yeah.
and he is an idol to me, and I felt really fantastic knowing that he even knows who I am. I was like, wow, this is so. It's a great joy and pleasure and privilege. And of course, I told him we should work together. And
Okay.
other than that, man, I really want to work with Adil Hussain again. He is a mentor to me and a legend, and I miss working with him. Of course, there's a lot of names, but that list is endless. The hope is that we make good stuff with good people. That's all I can hope for.
Yeah, let's certainly hope for that. Okay. Finally, has it been? Have you got some time off as well? Has it been good to get a break as well in Goa? Goa is the reason if he happens there is so that all the filmmakers and actors can come and explore a bit of Goa and India too. So have you got to do that? And for a creative person, there's a lot of inspiration there too.
Absolutely. Like one of the greatest joys of this whole experience this time was not just like sharing the movie with the audience and seeing what the gauge on that was, but also like as we worked, I came upon so many interesting filmmakers, so many interesting ideas. It was for 3 or 4 days, ideas were just pouring out like people everywhere. There's a huge creative buzz right now. And if we can, tap that, be a part of that, like help that grow and bloom, uh, there's a lot of good stuff that awaits. But yes, I met a lot of interesting ideas and a lot of interesting people.
Great to hear that. Okay, my last question now, Suraj, is how did the journey all begin? And this is a question we often ask our guests, for inspiration for our audience as well, and possibly young actors and young filmmakers watching you as well today. How did the journey begin for Suraj Sharma? When did you first decide you wanted to be an actor? Is this something you wanted to be from a child, or is this something that just happened?
I didn't believe that this would be a possibility as a kid, right? You don't think these things are real,
Mhm.
right? So in that regard, it wasn't something I thought would be possible. As it happened, I realized this is a possibility and I love it. But if you ask me, an actor's journey, at least a storyteller's journey, does not start with their first job. It's just your life is the inspiration,
Mhm.
The things that happen in your life, the way you grow up, the people you meet, those are the things that are the inspiration. So that started early. I was blessed with a very interesting childhood.
Mhm.
And then, becoming an actor really helped support this whole thing. So yeah, the inspiration would be that all the inspiration is always around you. And don't forget it. That's all.
True. Okay. Well, let's hope that inspiration continues. And thank you so much for being with us today, Suraj, and wishing you all the very best for this film's journey now across the world.
Thank you there. Lovely chatting with you. I hope I see you soon, man. Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Now we continue Zootopia.